Hello, this is the Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour, and I've brought you along to witness the first light of my new pipe. This is the time each week when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. And if you are a piece of humanity with a question for me, leave it in the comments down below using the hashtag AskGribbs. I will answer any question you could ever possibly imagine, including Gribbs, where did you get such a handsome pipe? I got it at Smoking Pipes, which is where I get all my pipes that I buy myself. Some people give me pipes. I don't know why. Stop giving me, don't send me anything. Unless it's a Stanwell 88. That, I would, or maybe a 245, 88 or 245, that's okay. I could also use a Jeep Wrangler if there's anybody out there that just wants to mail one. This is my brand spanking new Rossi, a new brand for me. Rossi 883, what the hell is the number on this pipe? It's an 8311, which corresponds to Savinelli's 311. Rossi is a subsidiary of Savinelli. Now, I am generally not one for off-brands. If there's a pipe I want, that's the pipe I want. I don't go looking for like cheaper ways to get the pipe I want, but I'm broke. And I didn't start out lusting for a Savinelli 311. I started out wanting to replace my Dagner, which when I bought it was $25. Now they're $35 for a corncob pipe. And I just kind of had a little bit of, honestly, if anybody at Missouri Meerschaum is watching this video, where is my Dagner? And this is gonna sound like the most OCD thing ever, but that's okay because I actually do have OCD, so I can make fun of me. But look, Missouri Meerschaum, if you are watching this, I really need, if I'm gonna spend $35 on a corncob pipe that I'm gonna drop on the floor, if I'm gonna spend $35 on a corncob pipe, I need the sticker to be centered on the bottom. I'm sorry. I know that's being nitpicky, but it's happened to me on, well, it happened on this is a legend, this is no big deal. But it happened on my Xenon, it happened on my freehand. Did that have a sticker? It has happened on 3 pipes. They were the higher end Missouri Meerschaum stuff. Just please center the sticker. But we were talking last week about cobs versus briars, and I said that I had gone the route of getting a briar because it could make such a, there are more stylistic statements that it can make. This is a pretty stylish pipe, y'all. In it, I am smoking a very rare and highly sought after tobacco from the now defunct McClellan Company. It is 3 Oaks Syrian. I know. Ladies, please, my inbox is already full. This is the first time I have bought myself a new briar pipe in 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. It was my Stanwell Admiral 53 that I bought myself because we were expecting, well, I wasn't expecting. I just made a little purchase to congratulate myself for my wife going through labor and childbirth. And, you know, I deserved a little something. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal. And like I said, never owned a Rossi before. I am aware, I do have Savinelli seconds. I have a 920 KS that was a second because there was a drop of like finish that didn't get quite finished. And I just finished it. And then I have sort of a brood of real Savinellis, all of which were gifts. Now on smoking pipes, when you buy a cheaper pipe, so this pipe was $65. When you buy a cheaper pipe, you only get a picture of one side of the pipe. When they're selling a pipe that costs $5 grand, they're gonna give like all kinds of pictures and videos and stuff. But we just saw the one side of the pipe, and I was a little nervous about that. I looked, they had several in stock. This is the Sarah edition, the rusticated with the little smooth branding patch right there. I think that's pretty cool. I could do without the silver band, honestly. But yeah, I looked at several pictures of the same model, and I pulled them all up in different tabs in my browser, and I like went back and forth like, oh, this one's got a little bit of flame in the smooth patch. This one's got some craggy stuff on the rim that I like, and I finally settled on this one. This was the one that I wanted, and I was really nervous that I would get it and I would turn it around and it would have like, I don't know, like Ronald McDonald carved into the other side. It did not, but it did have it's not a fill, it's is there a word for the hole that they fill? It had a hole right here. Nothing structural, nothing to affect the way the pipe smokes. The finish didn't quite penetrate all the way, so I took a magic marker and I just boop, and now it's perfect now. But I think that is why this was not an actual Savinelli. That's why it was sold under the Rossi name. I do have a new policy in my piping life that I'm never ever going to buy another pipe with a vulcanite stem. It's just too much maintenance. So I made sure it has an acrylic stem. It's a very comfortable saddle bit. This pipe is incredibly lightweight. It is lighter weight than my Country Gentleman corncob pipe. The rim is perfectly cut and chamfered. Everything is symmetrical. The shaft was drilled perfectly at the bottom of the bowl. It is a well-drilled bowl. It is pre-carbonated. Not my preference, but I can live with it. So let's get to your questions, but before we do that, I want to ask you, what are your new pipe rituals? When you get a shiny new pipe out of the box, what are the first things you do before you smoke it or as you smoke it? You saw me light this with matches. That is one of the things I do on the first light of a new pipe. It's just kind of a little superstition thing for me. But I also like to, I run a pipe cleaner through the bore, make sure there's not any razor blades or ricin pills or anything in there from the factory, you know. And then I usually look in the bowl. I mean, of course I look in the bowl. If you don't look in the bowl, are you even a pipe collector? Like, you got to inspect the bowl to make sure it's bowl shaped. But I look in there and I usually swab it out with something, either a pipe cleaner or if there's like some finishing residue or something in there, you know, damp paper towel or something. And that's about it. I do in briar pipes, I do smoke half bowls for the first few times. Which this is a pretty generous bowl for the size of a pipe it is. It's definitely smaller than my 920 KS. Probably about the same as the 320s though. Terry Davies says, you are one cool cat, but it's Latakia. What did I say? Latakia is what I say. Actually, it's not. No one knows what it is because the word doesn't translate into English. And there are regional, I looked this up a long time ago. I should go find that video, but there are regional dialects within Syria that pronounce it differently. There is no correct way to pronounce the word. I just try not to say Latakia. Cynthia Colerush asks, I live near Asheville. Does B&B carry a line of pipe tobacco or pipes? I'm glad you asked. B&B carries the best pipe tobacco ever in the history of the world, which is a blend called Beck's Old Limey Bastard. It was created by and named after a guy named Randy Beck, who is no longer with us, but it is my favorite desert island pipe tobacco if I could only smoke one blend for the rest of my life. And I was out of McClelland 3 Oaks. You guys know this stuff is rare, right? Now, go to B&B, get some Old Limey Bastard. I don't know what their pipe selection is like these days. I haven't been in years, which is really sad. That's where I bought my Stanwell Admiral, actually, back in the day. The other pipe I bought there was my Stanwell Colonial, which I bought to commemorate a giant explosion that almost killed me, but that's a different story. You know, every week I get this shit. Okay, so on my ramble many months ago about how everything changed in pipe culture, I said something about sort of the influx of incel manosphere douchebags into the pipe community. Dan, I'm not gonna say your name. Oof, man, gotta check the logic before you say stuff. Because I had mentioned some dude making some joke about how men are higher value because they fight burglars in the night. Gotta check the logic before you say stuff. You don't have to have a ring on your finger to know men are the ones to be sacrificed to danger for the family or war. To go back to a joke I made earlier, what's the statistic? How many men die from childbirth every year? Have you ever seen childbirth? Let's pretend the war point is made in good faith and isn't just some piece of shit incel talking point. Who are the people sending the young men to war? Oh, that's right, it's old men. Sorry, I need a change of venue. We don't get a lot of snow here anymore, but we have been getting, the past couple of years, we've gotten these like stretches of single digit temperatures, and then it gets really rainy and dreary, but warmer. And I don't know, it's a gorgeous day, so I had to get out. Change of pipe as well. I'm now smoking my Xenon with the bit from my Dagner, and in it I've got some Carter Hall. Martin Stinsby says he also loves Metallica. Gribbs, what are your thoughts on Judas Priest? Excellent band name. To answer the question, I don't have a lot of thoughts on Judas Priest. I am not, I guess I'm not a big fan.
but that doesn't mean I don't like them. I heard them a lot when I was working in a music store in my 20s, and it was kind of an ever-present background of certain guitar-centric bands, and Judas Priest was one of those bands. There's a lot that's like... There's a lot that's a little hokey about Judas Priest. And you guys know me, I need gravitas in all things, especially if I'm going to be listening to metal. It's got to be heavy metal. And I think Judas Priest is one of those metal bands that it's like rock and roll with it's a little up-tempo and more distortion. You know, it's missing a certain atonal minor character that I really enjoy in my metal. Also not a fan of the operatic vocals, although Judas Priest is apparently, I looked them up before I wanted to know what I was commenting on. So I looked them up just to refresh myself. And it seems like they're still making new music. They must have gone through a lot of personnel changes over the years. And the new music doesn't seem to have the operatic vocals. The biggest influence that I think they have bestowed upon the world is that Doom, the video game, effectively pretty much note for note ripped off the riff from Painkiller for the opening music of Doom 2, and that can't be overstated. Sort of this melding of different media, heavy metal and horror video games, shooters. Really, there's a particular depth to that kind of counterculture. I'm at the stage in life where it's really hard to find new music. I'm middle-aged, right? So I don't have time. I don't have a lot of opportunities to go see live music, and so this is why we talk about Metallica so much, is because I don't know any new bands. And the thing about Metallica that I think Judas Priest and a lot of other bands lack, they've got the minor atonal stuff going on. I mean, Master of Puppets is pretty much a chromatic riff. Like it is. There's not a lot of loyalty to a key there. But the flip side of that coin is that Metallica, up until I would say up until like the death like even Saint Anger, Metallica is committed to like the most gnarly heavy metal winding riffs still have groove, and I think that's important in the listenability of heavy metal. It's like somewhere in there, somewhere underneath all that, it's got a groove. Desert Highlander. And we're going to pause right here. Do you ever, I think that, you know, for people who have a lot of different interests, and you respect a lot of different ways that people express themselves, every now and then I'll come across a phrase, Desert Highlander, and I think, man, what could you do with a name like that? Like what, but then I think, because I misread it at first, I think even better would be like, if you were a very attractive woman who wanted to make extra money with OnlyFans, and you were also Scottish, you could call yourself the Thylander. Desert Highlander, ask Gribbs, favorite book and why? That is a tough one. I've been wanting to reread Stephen King's It, and it's in my top 10 for sure. To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, what am I talking about? No, of course, No Country for Old Men. If you've never read it, it's better than the movie, of course. Although the movie is great, but it's better than the movie, mostly because of the bad guy's hair in the movie. I never got over it. It's just, I can't look at it and take it seriously. But the book is probably the most finely crafted, most beautiful novel I have ever read. And it's so much so that it's hard. I've read it a couple times, and it would be hard to reread it. It's one of those things that makes me messed up for days. Is, you know, some pieces of music, some novels, some movies, you experience them and you can't go on with your day. It's like the opening scene to the example I always use is the opening scene to Saving Private Ryan. It's amazing. It's so well done. It does exactly to your heart what it intends to do. You don't want to watch that every day. You're not sitting around after the kid goes to bed thinking, oh, like, I'll watch some cat videos on YouTube or Saving Private Ryan. Just other things that came to mind when the question was posed. Summer of Night by Dan Simmons is a great, like, kids ghost story adventure novel akin to Stephen King's It. Lucifer's Hammer by Larry Niven is a wonderful apocalyptic sci-fi. It's not really even sci-fi, it's just apocalyptic thriller. And honestly, if I were going to choose the best piece of fiction ever, I know that I will get a lot of heat for this, but the Harry Potter series. Sorry. All right, I'm going to try to get on my game here, because this is a big question. I want to do it justice. Pins and Fins says, it sounds like your problem, this was on the Straying Further from God video about the leaf blower guy, which, by the way, I don't hear him right now. Maybe he's dead. Pins and Fins says, sounds like your problem is with sinful humans, not God, Jesus Christ, or the Holy Spirit. I have been trying to understand if you believe in God and believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. I'm trying to understand if you think Christianity is true, or if you think all religious beliefs are the same. You are one confusing guy, haha. I'm not sure if I gained anything by watching this 25-minute video. Best wishes. That's a lot to unpack. First, best wishes to you as well. Thank you for the question. Well, for starters, the whole idea of my channel and all of my work is that society is completely corrupt, and if we're going to survive as individuals and as a community, we have to search for something deeper. I've been thinking long and hard about how to answer this, and when we adopt labels for the invisible things that we believe in, it's really easy for people to draw lines around us and put us in a category, and then it's really hard to have nuanced discussions that can escape those categories. Ideology is one of the roots of tribalism, and the way I see the world, the biggest threat that we face as a species and as a society, as nations and individuals, is tribalism. What is fascism if not hyper-tribalism? What is and I've mentioned this kind of absurdist fascism that we find ourselves victim to in America today. We live in a time when one of the two major political parties at one of their conventions built an actual golden idol of their leader. That's our zeitgeist. That's where we are now. The invisible things we believe in definitely have at least as much significance in human conflict, tribalism, as the visible differences between us. And nowhere is that more evident than in my personal religious and spiritual lineage, which is you got a bunch of people that get together and they say, hey, we're theists, we believe in a deity. Then there's a bunch of other people and they argue, no, we don't believe in a deity. There are no deities. And so you have that argument. And my people come from the side of the argument of, yes, we do believe in a deity. The minute you make that declaration, now someone comes along and they say, well, and Pins and Fins, you're doing this. Which deity do you believe in? Okay, so let's imagine, let's for sake of argument, because we're talking about my personal lineage here, we're Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God and the Trinity, Holy Spirit, all that stuff. Wonderful. Okay, are you a Catholic or a Protestant? Human beings have survived this long because we're really good at pattern recognition and at separating things into categories. When you're an infant, you see a cat and a dog and you think they're the same thing, right? Smallish, furry animal, 4 legs and a tail. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, these are 2 separate categories. And that's exactly the evolution of our religious practices. We're contemplating the divine. Okay, is there a divine? Yes. All right. What form does it take? Oh, this Christian thing. All right, well, Catholic or Protestant? Okay, well, everybody was Catholic for a long, long time, and then Martin Luther did his whole thing, and my people were Protestants. Okay, cool. Catholics, you're full of shit. We are moving to the New World. We're going to take all of our beliefs, and we're going to get away from your persecution, and we're going to go over to the New World, and everything is going to be just fine. No one will be arguing about religion because we're going to seed this whole continent with people that agree with us, right? That's what we're going to do. I mean, never mind the brown people that actually lived on the continent that had their own really complex religious systems. Cool. Okay, so Gribbs' great Gribbs, he comes over to the New World and he is a Protestant, right? And then someone's like, what exact kind of Protestant are you? Well, what do you mean what kind? I'm the right kind. I'm the kind, we're the objectively correct type of Protestant. Presbyterian. Okay, we're Scottish, we're going to be Presbyterian. The problem is solved. Except somewhere, but after all the New World stuff, the Presbyterians got really mad at each other for reasons. And now there is the Presbyterian Church of America and the Presbyterian Church USA, and there is more animosity between these two groups of Presbyterians than there ever was between Jesus Christ and atheists. So when you say, do you think all religions are the same? Dude, I don't even think all beliefs within Christianity are the same. That kind of almost reductionist approach to spirituality, to religion. For one thing, when you ask someone, what do you believe, you're testing them. You're trying, okay, we agree about this. What about this? Well, let's drill down till we find a point where we disagree. That is what I fear from that line of questioning. Also, it's incredibly arrogant for anybody in these hierarchies to say that they know what the right answer is to any of these questions. These are not things we can know in the same way we know that there's tobacco in my pipe and it's made of wood. We can't know these answers. I used to make the same point with a dumbass, and he would say, no, I know this is true. Who gives a shit? It's not about you. It's not about what you know. If there truly is a higher order to the universe, do you think it cares that you know the right answer? Does it care about you? Yeah, sure. Does it care that you know the right answer? Are these even the right questions? Are they valid questions at all? But I get this question enough that I can see that it troubles some of my viewers. So let's proceed carefully and see what we can come up with. Do I believe in a higher order? Absolutely. Do I believe in a higher power? I didn't create the universe, so yeah. Well, it could just be an accident of quantum fluctuation. Okay, sure. Whatever. Fine. Then on the other side, people say, well, you've got to be more specific than, okay, fine. Do I believe in the Christian God? Sure. Do I believe in the comic book character that Christians have created of the Christian God? When you go out to the woods and you sit for a long time and you just kind of look and listen, and I think that my takeaway, maybe other people have different takeaways, but I think that mine is that all of these things predate the language that we use to describe them. All of these things predate us and cognitive reasoning abilities, and it's the height of arrogance to think that that we can know with the surety required to describe them to someone else what the realities are about these subjects. Can I answer in the affirmative to every one of your questions, Pins and Fins? I think so. Is Jesus the Son of God? Absolutely. Aren't we all children of God? So there's the question that really interests me. Is not the legalistic black and white. You know, is this correct? I think what interests me is how would we live up to it if it were? Isn't that the challenge inherent in, if we're going to go down this road, inherent in the greatest commandment? Can you, as a human being, forget about for a minute the rules and the categories that have made you so successful as a species, and just love God and love your neighbor? Can you let the other stuff go? And now my ass is wet, and I'm just about to the end of this bowl, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you for sitting in the woods with me. It was good to get out of the garage, you know. I think I'm going to mosey back over this way, see if I can find the headwaters of Bothy Creek. I'll see you next week. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.